In 2009, the game company From Software published a game titled Demon's Souls. 13 years later, with the release of Elden Ring, there are many unspoken mechanics that newcomers are left unfamiliar with. That is why I've decided to start this new series to help you understand the ins and outs of Elden Ring in a series I like to call Elden Elementary. So, you just bought Elden Ring, and you're absolutely loving it, and you want to play with some of your friends. But, you don't know how. And the game doesn't exactly tell you the steps that you need in order to do so. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's lesson. Alright, so here we are in a new game. And this is where you'll probably know we get our first multiplayer items just right over here in this corner. So first we have the Fingered Severer, which if you're in someone else's game, you can disconnect from it using this, or you can tell someone who is in your game to leave. And then we have the Tarnished Furled Finger. So you take the Tarnished Furled Finger, you place it down on the ground, and whoever wants to call you in can come to this exact spot and call you in that way. Then there is also this item right down here called the Small Golden Effigy, which you interact with once to pick that up, and then another time to actually activate the summoning pool. And these work in a per area basis. So it's not easy to show you here on this map, so I'll probably have it up on the screen. But if you use the Small Golden Effigy here at this beginning area, it will be sent to all of the summoning pools inside of Limgrave that you have activated. So you don't actually need to be in the location to be called into your friend's game, so long as you have the same effigy unlocked as the one that they're trying to call you from. And that makes it a little bit easier because you also know exactly where it's going to be. It's always going to pop up. Now, if you're trying to call someone in, you can't just call someone in as many times as you want. There's actually a resource that you need to get in order to call people in, and you don't have that from the start. So I will be right back once we get to what you need. Okay, so here we are at Kale, the merchant, and this is where you're going to buy what you need to in order to actually call people in. So inside his shop, he has these things called Furl Calling Finger Remedy. He has only 5 of them, and this is what you use to reveal co-op and hostile summoning signs. We'll get to that hostile part in a bit. It uses 1 for every death or boss. As long as you have it activated, it will not go away. You can call in as many summons as you want, so long as you haven't died or beaten a boss with that Furl Calling Finger Remedy. So you don't want to always keep getting them from the merchants, so the crafting kit is going to be your best friend in this multiplayer business. And the thing that you're going to be looking out for are these glowing yellow flowers here. They are what you use to create the Furl Calling remedies yourself, called Erdly Flowers. You scroll down to item crafting and find the Furl Calling Finger Remedy. You need 2 for each. You need to have 2 Erdly Flowers to craft 1 Furl Calling Finger Remedy. I've already collected a few more off camera here. And so now if we go back to the summoning pool, we might be able to find some people. Alright, so we're back over at the first step bonfire. And if we use this Furl Calling Remedy, you'll see all of these summon signs. There's quite a few here. They are people who've sent their human effigy. No, that's Dark Souls 2. My bad. Small Golden Effigy. They've sent their signs to the summoning pool using the Small Golden Effigy, and I can call them in and fight that tree sentinel right there if I really wanted to. Is it that one? Nope, that is Wave. My bad. That is tree sentinel over there. Also, if you're wondering how I'm emoting that way, you can only do it on PlayStation 5 as far as I'm aware. You have the 6 different gestures you can do with your controller. And then here is one of someone who just put down their... oh, and there they go. They got picked up. Their furled finger. And since, yeah, I don't have any passwords or anything like we're going to talk about in just a minute, these are all just people who are open to be picked up by anyone. And so that covers the these first 4. Now, there's a little bit of an unspoken rule here in matchmaking, and that is that you can only connect to someone who is in the same level range as you, as well as who has upgraded a weapon to around the same level as you. So, for example, I'm level 9, and I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. We'll say that I can call someone in that's up to a level 11 or down to a level 6. And since I haven't upgraded any of my weapons yet, I can only have, let's say, up to +2. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have the they have to have the +2 weapon equipped. That just means that that is the max that they have ever upgraded to. So if someone of your friends has upgraded to +6 and you haven't upgraded at all, then you might not be able to call them into your game. Or if they've leveled up, or if you've leveled up a lot and then you got your friend to buy the game and you're wondering why your sign's not showing up, that is why. It's because you have to be in the same level range as them, as well as the same weapon level range as them. And you can find a very handy calculator on this on fextralife.com. Very helpful resource for anyone who's getting into From Software's games. They aren't perfect, but they are definitely a very good source for this kind of thing. They know a lot of the technical things that it's just easier to go to their website and find the calculator and say, I am level 9 and the highest I have is a +0. Who can I call into my game? That kind of stuff. Now, let's say you want to play with someone who is a too high level or too low level, or who has a better weapon than you. There is an option for that in this game, and that is multiplayer passwords. So if you go into the multiplayer option in the menu, over on the right you'll see that this says multiplayer password and group password. So now the difference between these two is that the multiplayer password is something that you need to know in order to get into a club or a secret mafia hideout, let's say. Only the people with the password, the correct password here, will show up. So we have that furl calling finger remedy on, and you see all these signs here. If we go to multiplayer password and say, type in no one help. Oh, no one hell. There is a limit on how long the passwords can be. Now we come here, you see there are no signs because no one else in the world has no one hell as their multiplayer password. And then if we get rid of that and kind of leave the area and come back, there are signs again, and that's because we don't have the multiplayer password. Now the group password works a little bit differently. You can have 5 of these, obviously, and these are more of it'll be more likely for you to find someone's summon sign, someone's death message, or bloodstain, someone's message written on the ground if they are in a group. You can create your own groups, but there is a benefit to having a large group. So if we come over here and type in Stray Demon, which is the Elden Ring subreddit's official group password, just into the group password part, we should start to see messages and blood stains and yes, okay, so here you go. This is a death message, not death message, a blood stain from someone who's in the group. Now they are going to be color coded, so there's a red circle here for blood stain from someone who is in the Stray Demon group. It'll be white circle around the message here, and then of course yellow for the multiplayer sides. If you put the group password in, you'll be more likely to see them, and you will also, if someone defeats a main storyline boss or beats the game, you will get a boost to your own rune intake. So there are similar items out there, like the gold pickled foul foot, or the golden scarab, which I'll probably have up on the screen right now, that give you a percentage increase in the runes that you get when you kill something. And similar to those items, if you have a group password on and someone defeats a boss, for a short time afterwards, you will have an increase in the amount of runes you get for killing things. So I do recommend that you have Stray Demon on there and other multiplayer group passwords as well for getting a little bit more runes as you're just playing the game. Make it a little bit easier to level up weapons, buy items, level yourself up, that kind of stuff. Now, the other benefit to having the multiplayer password is because it is a exclusive group that only the people that you know that you tell the password will be able to use. You can call people in from any level range and any weapon level range. It doesn't matter if you are playing a RL1 character, a rune level 1 character, and you want to call in someone to help you with a boss that is max level. As long as you have the same multiplayer password enabled, you will be able to call each other in. Now, one last thing I do want to mention before we move on to the other aspects of multiplayer is that if you haven't called someone into your game and you want to stop seeing the messages for whatever reason, or the summon signs for whatever reason, you can nullify the effect for free. As long as you haven't called someone in, it will give it back to you. So as you saw, I collected one more arid leaf so I could have 2 remedies, and that is the only way that you can nullify it, is if you have another full calling finger remedy in your inventory. So yeah, as you can see, I can use it again. There's summon signs, come here, nullify it, and back to 2. Now this is very helpful for what I'm about to say, because if you're playing with random people online, it doesn't matter as much because there will most likely be signs down on the ground to begin with. But if you're playing with a friend of yours, it is better to have them use either their furled finger or their golden effigy first, and then have you use the finger remedy after they've placed it down. Now, it can be right after they place it down, or as they're placing it down. As soon as they hit the button, you can use your full calling finger remedy and it will appear immediately, as opposed to if you use the furled calling finger remedy first and then they put down either their tarnished furled finger or their small golden effigy. It might take a minute or 2 for it to show up. And so if you happen to use the Furled Calling Finger Remedy before on accident, or you thought they did and they're like, oh, whoops, sorry, I forgot to put my sign down. Let me put that down real quick. You can just quickly nullify it, get your Furled Calling Finger Remedy back, and then reuse it to make the sign pop up faster. One last thing that has to do with the cooperative multiplayer items is there's a nice place that has four Erdleaf flowers right next to a bonfire, and it's nice for collecting a bunch of Furled Calling Finger Remedies all at once. There's one right here, and then these 3, and then you go sit down at the Site of Grace and repeat, because they always respawn every time you sit down. And this place is called the Four Belfries, and it is located right here inside of Liurnia. That is, as far as I have been able to find so far, the best place for quickly getting a lot of Furled Calling Finger Remedies. Alright, so now we're going to go through a little rapid fire moment here. I have a character here that has all of the multiplayer options unlocked already, so I can kind of show you them. These are all of them here, and I can show you where to get them from. So starting from the top, we've already talked about these 4, the Furled Calling Remedy, the Finger Severer, Small Golden Effigy, and Furled Finger. Right here's the Taunter's Tongue, and this one you get, I've already done it on this character obviously, but you get from over here. You see all those death signs down there? That's because if you drop down here, there will be an NPC that appears right over there, and once you kill them, they will give you the Taunter's Tongue. Now, the Taunter's Tongue is used for if you, for whatever reason, want to have people invade your game when you are by yourself. By default, you will never be invaded by a human character, an actual player character, someone in the real world, unless you are multiplayer, unless you have someone else in your game. That is, unless you use the Taunter's Tongue. If you use the Taunter's Tongue, you can be invaded by actual players. Not NPCs can invade you no matter what, whether you are by yourself or with friends. But with the Taunter's Tongue, real people can invade your game too. And if you want for an even harder challenge, when you have friends with you, you can also use the Taunter's Tongue to allow more people to invade, but you can only have one cooperator, as it shows here in the middle of the screen. Now, the next items are the Duelist Furled Finger and the Small Red Effigy, and I will be right back once I am at the place that you find those. Okay, so here I am once again. 90s reference aside, I am right outside where you get the invader items, the Duelist Furled Finger and the Small Red Effigy. There will be a NPC invader that pops up about right here, and right behind him, right on this corpse right here, is those 2 items. You don't have to defeat the NPC invader in order to get them, but it makes it a little bit easier because you well, no, actually in this game you don't stop when you pick things up, which is a heaven sent thing, because in other games from FromSoft, when you go to pick up an item, your character will physically stop and pick up the item, which leaves you vulnerable to being hit, and you can't dodge, attack, or anything during that animation. So yeah, count your lucky stars that you're playing Elden Ring. Now, what those 2 are used for are similar to the Tarnished Furled Finger and the Small Golden Effigy. If you would like to fight your friend to see who is the better duelist, the better PvP player, you can use these 2. Or if you want to fight someone online for whatever reason. There is a lot of PvP communities out there that love fighting each other, and I've kind of grown to like fighting actual players. I used to hate invaders, but once I learned how invasions are supposed to work and not how they turned out, I like the concept a lot. And some invaders can be pretty nice and cordial. They understand that they're coming to your game and you're interrupting them, and they'll you can read up on all the unwritten rules on the etiquette of invasions and that kind of thing on your own. I don't think I will make a video on that unless you guys want to, but yeah, that's what those are used for. So these next two are a little bit more complicated. The Bloody Finger is and the Recusant Finger are a little bit later game items. Well, I won't tell you exactly all the details about the Bloody Finger because it's a whole quest line, but I will say that you will need to visit Var, who is over at the first step bonfire. You need to talk to him after you have gotten yourself a hold of any of the great runes. Now the most logical one for you to get is the one that Godric drops, who is the first boss, the first big boss. There's Margit, who is guarding the entrance to Storm Castle. I believe that's what it's called. It's like Storm Veil Castle. Don't know why I forgot the veil. But then you can also, once you fight Godric, you will get your first Great Rune. But it doesn't necessarily need to be his. You can also defeat any of the main storyline bosses that drop Great Runes. And then go back and talk to Var, and he will lead you on a quest. And eventually he will give you the Bloody Finger. Now, the Recusant Finger is a little bit easier to get than the Bloody Finger. It doesn't involve a whole quest line, so I can include how you get it in this game, or in this video. You will want to find your way up to Volcano Manor. Yes, I didn't go outside and get the map. I know. How foolish of me. It'll be right here on the table. Right here. And along the same vein, there is one more item that you can use, and that is the Festering Bloody Finger. Now this item, along with the Recusant Finger and the Bloody Finger, are used to invade random people's worlds. The Festering Bloody Fingers you can find from merchants. Var gives you 5, I believe, for his quest line, or they also are found throughout the lands between. And they are consumable items to invade other players' worlds. The Bloody Finger and the Recusant Finger are reusable, and there are slight differences. The Bloody Finger is more of a normal invasion of someone else's world, and the Recusant Finger is, to compare it to Dark Souls 3, a Covenant item where it's for the Volcano Manor themselves. They call them they are Recusant invaders, hence the Recusant Finger. Okay, and the last two on the list here are the blue cipher ring and the white cipher ring. Now, what these two do are, if you are invaded, you can actually call an extra bit of help by using the white cipher ring whenever you get invaded. So you can have that going whenever you get invaded, and once you get invaded, someone with the blue cipher ring used will be summoned into your game and will try to fight the invaders for you as well. makes it a little bit easier to fight because you have another one-up on the invader. Now, a lot of people don't like having such bad odds against invaders, but considering lots of people can be one-shot by invaders, the more help you can get, the safer you tend to feel as a host. And these 2 items are bought from the Twin Maiden's Husk inside the Table of Lost Grace, which you'll get to just by playing the game normally. They are just the normal item shop. They are right here. Now, that is all for the multiplayer items that are on that menu, but there are 3 other items that I would like to mention, and those 3 are the Furled Fingers Trick Mirror, the Host's Trick Mirror, and the Mimic Veil, which I don't even know if I have on this character. Yes, I do. Mimic Veil. Mimic's Veil. So the first 2 are used as talismans. We'll see if it works here in game. Yes, it does. So if you are host and you want to trick an invader into thinking that you're not the host, because they're not attentive to the thing above your head that says Host of Fingers, they're just looking for whoever isn't shiny, you can go ahead and slap that bad boy on and you look like you are a cooperator and not the host. Now, similarly, if you want to trick them into thinking that you are the host in someone else's game, you can put on the Furled Fingers Trick Mirror, which doesn't do anything right now because I'm in my game already, so I am the host. But it works very similar to that. Now, the last item here, the Mimic Veil, is my favorite item in the game. When you use it, and it does take magic FP to use, you turn into a box.
Moving box! What the heck? You can turn into a box? That's amazing!
And a bunch of other things. The more times you use it, the more likely you are to get different things. Since I'm here in the Lost Table of Grace, I don't think we'll turn into much. So let's go to the main academy gate inside Raya Lucaria. Let's see. A painting. How inconspicuous. It is good to note that you cannot do anything besides walk slowly when you're using the Mimic's Veil. If you try to run, dodge, attack, anything else, birdcage, you will be knocked out of the Mimic Veil, but it is nice to just kind of hide yourself. It is easier when you're a cooperator because the invaders do see you on the compass up on the middle there. They will have a little icon showing where the host is at all times. But you would be surprised with how many people are not looking out for the host who is just in the Mimic Veil. They're just sitting here. Now, right here, it would be a little bit obvious that this is this is not supposed to be here, but if you were inside Raya Lucaria proper, you might be able to find a place to hide yourself. Now, one thing to note about this is if you are going to use a Mimic Veil, then try not to break things like benches, candlesticks, boxes, all that kind of thing, because it'll make it it'll make you blend in more if there are more things on the map, and lots of people will just not think of looking for you. And that item is obtained inside of Stormvale itself. We'll go to the Rampart Tower here. Run away from that scary guy. Right here in this chest will be the Mimic Veil. And with that, that is... Ow. Ow. That is all of the multiplayer items and how multiplayer works. One last thing to note is as a summon, if you are successful in beating a boss together, you will be rewarded with a rune arc. Now, these don't have much use in and of themselves, but once you get great runes, you can use those to activate them. So right here, I have Godric's Great Rune. And as you see over there, it says raises all attributes. Whoops, put that back on. So if we go over to status, you'll see 24, 20, 11, 10, 13, 26, 7, and 13. Once I use... Oh, and there's the shard bearer message, by the way. So if you look up at the top left, you see that little foot icon with the arrow pointing up. That means that you have an increase in the amount of runes that you are currently collecting. And if I were to use the gold pickled foul foot as well, you see there's another one, and I don't have the scarab, otherwise I could show that you can have all three activated at the same time. But yeah, once you use the rune arc, all your resistances go up because your statuses have improved. Look at that. 29, 25, 16, 15, 18, 31, 22, and 18. Now this specific rune increases all attributes by 5, and it lasts until you die. So what I recommend if you're having trouble and you want to collect a bunch of rune arcs to help improve your stats quite a bit once you've gotten this great rune, as you're traveling throughout the lands, just have your small golden effigy always going, and collect as many summoning pools as you can in any area you go to. Find all of the legacy dungeons that you can, because those are generally short, and most people call in help only when they are struggling with a boss and have already completed the entire dungeon. So you can just quickly go in, defeat the boss, and get another rune arc. That's how I've gotten, I think, all of these rune arcs on this character. One last thing to note is if you have pre-ordered the game, you will be gifted the ring gesture here, which I don't know why I went in there to activate it. You will be gifted this at the very beginning of the game. Once you hit start and you first appear in the world, you'll be gifted that. But if you haven't, which I hadn't on this account, you can actually be gifted it by other players. Now, the criteria for getting it, you can't just go into someone's game and press the ring and get it. What you need to do is have someone in your game beat a boss with them and have them use the ring emote after the boss has been defeated. Upon doing that, along with all the other things the boss will give you for defeating it, you will get the ring emote. This is something that I have confirmed for myself. The footage that you saw on the screen as I was explaining that, I saw originally, and then I confirmed it on my own on this player here. I got gifted it while in a dungeon because I was having trouble defeating a boss, and called some players in. We defeated him. He did the ring emote, and I got gifted it. So it is possible. I have confirmed 100%, as long as you beat a boss and do the emote before they disappear, or they do the emote before they disappear, you will get the ring emote. So it's just a little nice little thing that FromSoft has given to us. I like it. It's a cool concept, being able to gift other people emotes as an actual player, because most of the time the only way to get emotes are through NPCs. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth video on all the ins and outs of multiplayer inside Elden Ring. If you have any specific questions or confusions that you have about Elden Ring, please let me know and I will make a video as soon as I can. I have a few more in the works for other concepts to kind of cover all the bases on how Elden Ring works, but I will make them as soon as I can. And as a last note, if you did like the song in the intro, I made that myself. So if you would like to listen to it, the link is in the description below for YouTube. It will be on Spotify in a couple of weeks from when this video comes out. So look forward to that. Link to my Spotify account is also, or to my Spotify artist page is also in the description. And that's just a nice little way to support me without having to actually spend any of your money outside of if you are paying for Spotify Premium, which you already are. I get money from that, but if you're just using normal Spotify, you can help support this channel for free, and that is the best way to do it, I think. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.